Before we move on to the vocabulary list itself, let's remind ourselves about a few basic concepts that we need to remember about Latin adjectives. Nouns and adjectives in Latin and in all languages work together. They add color, dimension, and life to our nouns. Without them, our writing and speaking would be quite dull, like this barn. When we add the adjective red to it, it becomes a red barn. No longer dull and boring and lifeless, but bright and vibrant. That's the power of an adjective. Here we have a dog. But if I add the adjective three-headed to it, I create a very specific dog, Cerberus, who guards the gate to the underworld. Suppose I write the word man. Here I have the silhouette of a man. But when I add an adjective like old or angry, the man takes a whole different shape. Many of the stories we read will feature the Mediterranean Sea. If I add to that the idea that it is a stormy sea, I create a very vivid picture. This is the work of adjectives. Adjectives, like noun, use inflections. The inflections help us to understand what noun the adjective is describing, because when an adjective describes a noun, it must use the same inflection or ending as the noun it describes. Look at these 4 adjectives. Each has a different inflection. Now, take a look at 4 nouns. The adjectives that describe them must have the same inflections, like pulchra with regina and defessos with pueros, bellum with longum, and litam with puellam. Each has the same inflection as the noun. Remember that when reading or writing Latin, an adjective can be in front of or behind a noun. Let's take a look at some more examples of adjectives using inflections. The inflections on these adjectives, fortes, ferocis, potentem, and celeribus, are from third declension. What will the endings on the nouns that they describe look like? They will look the same. Canibus, celeribus, ferocis, leonis, fortes, milites, and regem, potentem. Once again, remember that when reading Latin or writing it, the adjective may come before or in front of the noun, but it must have the same inflection. Sometimes the inflections will look different from one another. Let's look at examples like that. Here we have the adjective fortes, boni, potentem, and longo. The nouns that they are going to describe will not have endings that look exactly the same as the adjectives. For example, potentem, dominum. Um and em don't look the same. E on itinere and O on longo don't look the same, nor does boni agricolae or fortes pueri. And yet, the noun and adjective are the same because their gender, number, and case are the same. We will discuss this concept later on in our semester. For now, let's practice making adjectives describe nouns by ensuring that they have the same ending.